So I keep talking about the admin as being a very good place to model our app after or our web application after because it does one fundamental concept very well. And that concept is called CRUD. And what it refers to is create, retrieve, update, delete. So what I'm going to go ahead and make a new file inside of our project, and I'm going to call it crud.md. And CRUD is something that is basically how your app works with the database. Again, it was create, retrieve, update, and delete. So the acronym is CRUD. And sometimes you'll also see list and search. So basically, this is what you're doing when you work with the database. You're either going to create something, so make new. You're either going to retrieve it or get it. You're going to either update it, so edit, right? Or you're going to delete it, which is fairly straightforward, right? This is something that you've already done quite a bit, most likely. I mean, if you're working with any application like Facebook or anything like that, you're going to be working through CRUD quite a bit. Now, list and search are very similar to retrieve, so it's not really a whole lot different. So that really could probably go inside of here. But this concept is very well illustrated in the Django admin. So if we go in here, add new post is a way to create something, right? So if we look at the URL even, it says add. Editing a new post, if we click on it, it says the post, some number, and then change. So edit, update, change, There's also the delete button. So if I click delete, it also shows delete and then a confirmation. So that's a delete method, right? So there's a lot of different methods on how we could go about building our site. And basically when it comes to retrieve, now it's a few things. When we click on it, this is an update method, but it's also retrieving the details. But then also this list here. So if we did post again, this will actually search things for us. So it's retrieving it. It's getting all this information for us. And if I wasn't able to update it, this probably would just be to show me what it is, right? It's not going to actually give me the ability to update it if I didn't have the permission to update it. So that's where CRUD really makes a difference in what we're doing. And when it comes to what's called HTTP methods, this is what we will be using as well with our forms, especially if we look at create. This is called a post method. Update is sometimes put or patch. And then finally, delete is delete. So these are HTTP methods. And we'll talk about those HTTP methods when we actually get into it. So to handle all of these things, we have to work with something called views. Now, views will allow us to run each one of these methods, right? We'll have a create view, a retrieve view, which is like a detail view. We'll have an update view, and then a delete view. Now, these two are going to require some permissions, or actually the three that require permissions for us are going to be CUD, so create, update, and delete. Retrieve, we will not require permissions to see it unless it's not published yet. So in a way, that's going to require permissions too. But for the most part, we are going to be working around all this important concept. And these things will come a lot more clear once we actually build into it. But CRUD is one of those things that you definitely want to know a little bit more about. So you also can check out the documentation for Wikipedia on CRUD. Now, CRUD, as you notice here, it says read. Retrieve and read are often used as synonyms here, so they can replace for each other. But if you look down here, there's also modify for update and destroy for delete. But I did mention these HTTP methods here. So we've got put and post, get, put and patch, delete. So put is another method that we just didn't talk about. But you can read all of this stuff. And it's going to kind of show you essentially the way most database-driven applications work. They use CRUD to some form or fashion. And you can think about that with everything. Think about like Twitter. When you make a new tweet, you create something, right? When you, if you could update it, it would be update. When you delete it, it deletes it, right? So that's how it's working. You could do that with every single project that you're working on. So that's CRUD. So in the next one, we'll actually start to work towards CRUD and by building views. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.